I'm really happy to do this because when I saw the chapter I'm going to be reviewing tonight, I just feel like it is part of what is happening to me right now, or it is what is just happening. It is just what I'm going through right now. It's something that I really need. It's something that is relating to my life right now. So when I saw the first line at the beginning, that no one who can rise before dawn 360 days a year fails to make his family rich. I'm like, oh, really? So should I be waking up every morning like that? So actually just something that actually I just had to ponder on that particular line, and I saw that this thing really, really like it sends a lot of message. So in this part, it's talking about rice paddies and math tests. And when you look at these two things, they used it to explain hard work and smart work, not just hard work. Smart work is also important. So for the first part, they said, sorry, so I documented a few things I want to say here today. I'm coming. All right. So at the beginning, I'm just going to take like the most important part because we do not have the whole night here. So they said Asian students often do well in maths. And when you look at these Asian students, the Asians are the Koreans, the Chinas, and other people like that. The reason why they are doing well in maths is not because they are naturally intelligent or they are just like that. It is because of hard work. And it's something that has started before their generation, before them, from their parents and people before them. You understand? So, in fact, when we look at the books, it talked about rice paddies, like where they plant rice and everything. You're going to see that the way they plant rice, the way they cultivate rice, is not like other things that you can just plant and just go. Aside from you planting it, you need to nurture it, you need to dedicate time, you need to dedicate effort and everything to it to make the harvest a success. So just look at it in like in our own lives generally. You see, anything that we are doing in this life that we put a lot of hard work to it, at the end of the day, we are going to see the work there and we're going to get used to hard work. You understand? So when we look at probably those women that probably they sweep, women that they clean and everything, we're going to see that their children are always hardworking than other people's children. I don't know if you noticed that. It's just something that I noticed. You understand? Let's say the parents are maids. Yeah, so there is a way this child is going to be hardworking. The child do not need to go to any special school or anything. The child is just going to be able to do hard work and everything like that. You understand? It's not like all of them get it well at the end, but most of them have this natural hard work. They know how to dedicate time to things and making things successful. So another thing they said in the book, aside from that part, is the math tests. So that math test, it is just saying that these children are also brilliant in mathematics. So aside from hard work about like other things in life, aside just being successful, aside doing well in other categories aside from academics, they also do well in academics too. You understand? Because when we look at mathematics, everybody just thinks mathematics is tough. In fact, it's not everyone thinks. It's what everybody knows, that mathematics is a very tough subject, yeah, even for me. But we got to know that mathematics, those that are doing well in mathematics, is not because they are naturally intelligent, or there's one chip at the back of their head. What's making them intelligent is because they dedicate time to it, that, oh, I must know this thing. They dedicate time to it, they put effort, and they just stand on it that they must know it, and they always know it. So this thing is common to the Asians also, and they said they do well than with the Western children, or the Western worlds. Yeah, yeah, they do well than the Western world, basically. So another thing in the book that I was able to take is that I'm coming. Another thing that I was able to take in the book, but I did not jot down a lot of things. I'm just trying to. Okay, so another thing again that I took in the book is that the Western societies, they see hard work as punishment most times. They see hard work as punishment, but these children that were brought up from homes or from generations that they really worked hard for whatever they do, they're always more productive than those people that just see working hard as just extracurricular activities or things that are not necessary. If you look at the field in academics, I'm talking that from the perspective of Nigeria. Actually, we're going to see that most of these students that do extremely well, just rich children also do well, but there are some people that do well, and the reason why they are doing extremely well is because of their background. They know that, okay, I was taught from childhood that, okay, we are doing something, you must do it over and over again, you must get it, you must do this, you must do that. With a lot of hard work, with a lot of sweat, with a lot of effort, they always get things done. So they always excel when in a lot of things that they do. So one other quote is another quote about that mathematical aspect, that mathematical ability is not about being fast, it's about not giving up. When we're taught polynomials in school, all those tough things like that, okay, I'm in university now, and when I was taught in secondary school, I used to just feel like these things were too tough, but I found them kind of easier when I got to university, and I felt like it was because I did not have a choice. I must not carry this course. I must do whatever I need to do to just pass this course and everything. So this is a sign. This is just to let us know that mathematical ability is not about just being fast or just doing things, and it's about not giving up, for you to come again and again. And let us know that whenever we're talking about mathematics in this aspect, we're not talking about mathematics like only in academics. We're talking about other aspects in life too. So we have hard working is what successful people do. Yeah. So um I think that is all I have from the chapter. So thank you so much for having me. I made it as brief as possible. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Kumi, for that summary. Anyone that wants to contribute, could please go ahead and raise their hand. Yeah, as Kumi pointed out, I think one thing about the Asian people was that they were very persistent, they were diligent. So they knew that, for example, they had this thing of, okay, they had way of ensuring that they want to plant rice, and they knew that that was like their major food for, I think, for both their breakfast and dinner. They knew that they needed to ensure that some things have to be in place. They needed that they should make sure that they put the right quantity of water, the right fertilizer. They needed to ensure that all of that were done in the right proportion. So they put in so much effort to ensure that that was done. So they even had to use their hands, because they knew that that was their only source of, how will I put it, their only source of income, in the sense that whatever, when they plant, harvest those, once those rice are, they sell it to buy other things for themselves. So they put in all of their best by being very diligent, hardworking, and all of that. But also comparing that to the Western world. The Western world, of course, we prefer that, we have equipment that can help us do this. Why do I have to stress myself? But it just all boils down to, I mean, us in our various life and career, and, I mean, various day activities. We all need to then know that, okay, for us to stand out, for us to be better than our peers, we need to consistently, I mean, improve on ourselves, um, so that we just don't remain the same, so that we continue to stand out, going the extra mile. Someone One thing that they even said in this particular chapter about the Asian people, they were very smart. So, and it just how I put it, time and chance, because they were smart, because they also, because of their Chinese, they were able to grab so much at a time, so much words within a short span, compared to, I mean, all other people. They were very sharp. So their kids could recite, I mean, numbers at a younger age than compared to their peers. They were just lucky, because they were just fortunate, right? And they held on to that. Even I would even say this, even most of them, when they go to other parts of the country to school, they always stand out. They're always very, most of them always stand out in terms of academic and all of that. So basically, cultural background, cultural, how it has an influence as to how well a child turns out. Basically, your background and what you do, no matter how much you feel you have, but your background, just some sort, have an influence also how much or how well you eventually, I mean, turn out. And also the fact that when in life, once you are faced with challenges, not giving up, always still thinking, always still having that mindset that even though, I mean, this thing that I'm faced is a difficult, what do I do? How can I make that situation better? How can I improve on myself? What do I need to do to make the situation better? Not giving up, basically, and just being persistent, being diligent. Um, no matter how much it requires us to put in that effort, just putting in that effort so that at the end of the day, we begin to see the results. Even though we don't see the results immediately, it may take a while, but we just need to put in all of those efforts so that at the end of the day, we then begin to see all of the results. I mean, it's clear in this chapter that, I mean, hard work and being diligent just somehow always make you to just stand out. And all. I don't know if anyone wants to contribute to what Kumi has said. I think I'll just leave the floor open just in case anyone still wants to have anything to add to everything that has been said so far.
Yeah.
And
I'm raising my hand for more. I don't know. You can
okay,
go.
sorry, Kathy, please go ahead. Yes, sorry, I
All
didn't
right.
see that.
Thank
Please
you
go
so
ahead.
much, Komi, and thank you so much, performance. So just to mention, this is the second time um, Sumaya Komi is doing a review for us on Kaizen, and we really appreciate it. Thank you. And also, just to mention that out of the 10 chapters that we have in Outliers actually have 9 chapters with an epilogue. So we're going to be doing the 10. We've done 8. So you can see that it's interesting to start gradually and then pick the lessons as they move on. So we have 2 more to go before we go for our Kaizen game nights. The second thing or the third thing I want to mention is this is the part 2 of the book, which focuses on what they called legacy. Part 1 focused on opportunity and what Malcolm has been trying to prove to all of us is why you are talented, why talent is critical, knowledge is critical, effort is critical. There are other factors we need to pay special attention to and leverage on them. The first one he proved throughout the first 5 chapters were around opportunities, proving to us that people that are exceptional in the history of humanity have the opportunity, they have higher leverage than others. He has told us how Bill Gates and all of them became what they became because of the parenting and the exposure that they had at the early stage of their life, the hockey players and all of that. Now it's also establishing to us that the background of people, where they came from, and how the cultural background is also affect who and how they become. And one of the interesting part I picked when he was analyzing the mathematics success for the Asians was the numbering structure. And he gave us an example that you should try to call the numbers in English 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So what he was trying to explain there was that the ability of those guys to understand mathematics is related to effort, to the struggle, but it can also be linked to the easy numbering structure that they have. And he tried to explain to us that, look at us in English, you are saying 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's the number of time that our brain stores things in seconds. How long it took us to pronounce those letters, to sound the numbers, matters because the Asians, the numbers are 2-letter word. And he said 4 is C and then 7 is K. Just like that. Before you say 7, look at the number of syllables 7, 2. K is just 1. So he said that the fact that they are more familiar to, or the numbering system in the Asian language is easier. It's a background to make mathematics easier for them compared to us that we have to pronounce it 7, 10, 20, 22. They pronounce it in a shorter way. And that's to call our attention to all of our different backgrounds. Some people, we know people from the East, they have some peculiarities around business and they understand how money work and they are more enterprising. The people of the West, they are more academic. And then, so all of these had to play a role. So we need to start looking inwards, where I came from. What are the cultural advantages that I can leverage on to be an outlier? What are the cultural differences that should make me a that should give me a leverage higher than others that do not have that? Right? We need to start understanding those cultural differences for us to now start benefiting from them and for us to start acknowledging what they have. So they are basically just emphasizing that our cultural background. In fact, the intonation. I'm reflecting about the intonation, our accent, how they affect our easier comprehension of things. Right? Some languages are deeper in meaning than the others. Right? So I'm just trying to emphasize that what is trying to tilt our attention to is the cultural differences in these people. So, what are your own cultural differences and cultural advantages that you want to leverage on to become an outlier? Those are the things we should ruminate over when we leave this place. I'll hand over back to Foma. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you so much, Kazim, for that. I don't know if anyone else has anything to contribute. Like Kazim mentioned about your cultural background sort of have a way of has a role as to how you turn out. I mean, and that was clearly seen in the Chinese people and how smart they were, how easy it was for them to solve math problem, how they were very persistent, they kept on, how will I put it, they did not want to give up. They were so strong-willed that they felt that they kept on how like trying to ensure that they are able to solve difficult problems and all of that. I mean, being able to stand out, being able to the standard amongst, I mean, where you are. It's about you looking around you and also tracing yourself back to your roots and what are those things that, I mean, that peculiar to to where you're from that cannot eventually make you to stand out amongst your peers. I think it's 1 minute eight. I don't know if anyone has anything to add. I think we have about two more chapters to go before our game night. And just to mention, if you're not yet following us on any of our social media handles, please do so. We are on YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, X, that's X, and the likes. We're also on LinkedIn as well. And if you would also like to review a chapter with us, please feel free to reach out to anyone on of the admin on the WhatsApp group. I think okay, I can see Nuridine's hand up. Nurudine, please go ahead.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. Hope I'm clear
Yes, we
and
can hear you. Yes, we
audible.
can hear you. Please go
Thank you so
ahead.
much, Maya, for the brief and precise um, review, and thank you to Farmer. So the only thing I want to add is just for us to also pay attention to the link between how paying attention to the strengths we may have from maybe our background, our culture, like the mathematics thing for the Asian side. We should also remember that in the book too, there were some things that is cultural, that is like a weakness for them, that led to the plane crash, like the over respect and not and being timid to to speak to seniors or power. So as we are focusing on the strengths that's supposed to be like leverage for us, we should also be mindful or pay attention to what is like a weakness due to maybe our upbringing or the culture from which we come from, so that we can have a better balance. Thank you.
Thank you so much, New Reading, for that. I think it's 8:01 on the dot. I think it would be a good time for us to, I don't think I can see any hands up. I think this would be a good time for us to just, end this week review session. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining, and see you same time next week, Saturday.
All right. Thank you, Foma. Thank you, everyone. Have a lovely day. Bye.